Currently 2-0 here in the league with Jeskai black. Hand looks solid. Have access to all my colors by fetching Smoldering Marsh off Polluted Delta, but then I don't do anything in the first 2 turns, so it is possible that I run Jace out there and don't actually have access to red mana right away. It's also possible that I just fetch a swamp. But my opponent is also on the Mystic Monastery plan, so it kind of feels like this Jace is not going to last. So I'm going to hold on to that Delta. I might need to fetch black-red with that. I do want to play Jace, and I think I want to fetch second blue. And then if Jace dies, then we can fetch a Swamp, Painful Truce, hopefully draw red mana. Jace dead. Alright. That's okay. Alright, beautiful. We are online. My opponent's got a little foil action. I like it. Alright, so do we hold up for Stroke or anything, or do we just jam Mantis? I feel like we might want to hold. People be playing all kind of weird stuff now, like Gideon. And there's no point to really dig quite yet, so I'll just hold on to that as well. It's a delicate dance, this matchup. Try not let any haymakers resolve. Try and stick a thread at some point. Oh, I see. I see. Well, do I want to stroke that? I mean, I have a Crackling Doom. Kind of just want to stroke it. Well, now I feel foolish. So yeah, just try and get these windows where you can get these chip shots in. Now I just have a pile of removal instead of like removal and counterspell. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. But Crackling Doom is usually pretty safe. Like, it's almost always going to be live. My opponent starts resolving like dig through times or whatever, then stuff is tough. But for right now, I think we're okay. I think blowing that stroke was fine. Draconic Roar, you reveal anything? Kolagon. Yeah. Write her down. I think I just want to roast the Seeker. Because roast might not have many targets. Having Fire Impulse against a Fumarole might be a little more important. But drawing Painful Truce kind of messes with that. But it just means I don't cast it this turn. I'll hold open Dig and probably cast that end of turn. If it gets countered, it's not really a big deal because I have Painful Truths. Otherwise, I'd be a little more paranoid about actually trying to resolve this Dig. Oh, I guess like Chandra is a thing that I can't deal with removal. So maybe that's bad. If I get Chandra, that'd be real bad. Then I'm basically dead. Our opponent's just fetching and passing. So Dig resolves. That's interesting. Opponent still has Kolagon, so we can't really jam Chandra. And taking one of these creatures kind of seems silly. Just because our opponent likely has Kolagon and a couple removal spells. I'm not sure what their plan is, though. You would think that like they would want to activate Fumarole and just like throw it under the bus to try and clear a way for Kolagon. But I don't know. I think I want Chandra, and I think I want them to actually get to a point where they tap out for Kolagon and we get to respond by playing Chandra. Maybe we actually have a mana open to Fiery Impulse, the Fumarole, to protect Chandra a little bit, but Fumarole still doesn't kill Chandra. But it's also possible that we just want to pick up like a couple creatures, you know, and just like play those into our opponent's removal spells. Like maybe it's better to just take Jace Soulfire Grandmaster, because they only have 3 cards, and one of their cards is a Kolagon. So yeah, let's do that. Let's take Jace Soulfire. Ignore the 6-drop for now. Hopefully our opponent doesn't cast Dig or like 2 Draconic Roars. But if we start looping removal spells, and especially if we start gaining life with Soulfire Grandmaster, I think we're in a pretty good spot. Okay, so Draconic Roar on Jace is fine. Kind of knew that was coming. Knew some sort of removal was going to happen. And then either our opponent doesn't fear Soulfire Grandmaster, or they are out. Out of removal. Kind of tempted to just impulse my own Grandmaster here. Because we are getting pretty low. That's kind of a wild play, though. We end up going to 6, but then Truce puts us to 3, and yeah, that's just not great. I'm going to impulse my own thing. Can't really get punished, because they can't activate Fumarole, and they can't play Kolagon, so seems fine to me. Another Dig is nice. We are going to Painful Truths first. And we just reload on removal spells. I think I might just want to Murderous Cut this and save Crackling Doom for a Thunderbreak Regent. And awkwardly enough, I think I'm going to Delve a bunch. So that in case they have a counterspell, I can still Crackling Doom. Makes my Dig worse. Well, no, actually it doesn't even matter, because this is my last Delve card. So it's completely irrelevant, because that's the only thing I use my graveyard for. I don't have Kolagon's Command or any of that nonsense, so. Alright, now we can take Kalitas Jace, I guess. Seems fine. So we can't play them both, really. And we wouldn't have an answer to Kolagon if they dash that in. So that could be kind of a spew. So we'll get Kalitas out there. I'm going to play my land for maybe no real reason, but... And upkeep, we will fetch to put our Chandras back in our deck. Try and get some use out of this roast. Get a zombie, which is excellent. Fight with Kalitas, gain some life. And then finish up with a Jace. So basically I played 4 card drawing spells, my opponent played 0. That was what happened this game. A lot of our cards traded off, but it was the card drawing that carried me through. So Transgress and Stroke I like. Painful Truce can be painful, you know. But we just have to keep our life total afloat. We should be good. Roasts are not great. But mostly, I'm not doing very much sideboarding. I can also see bringing in some Duresses to fight their spells. Maybe like Dispel to do that too. But I kind of have to know more about their deck first. Like, I saw Seeker, Jace, Thunderbreak, and Kolagon for creatures. I would assume that there's Mantis Rider also. So I really want as much removal as possible. Maybe I should just keep in like some Roast or like bring in Radiant Flames or something. Maybe Obnixilis also. All potential cards. Because then if I use Roast on things like Jace or Soulfire, then maybe I'll have Fiery Impulse for Mantis Rider if they do actually have that in their deck. But all my cards are pretty good. I don't really want to cut any. I don't even want to cut any really right now. Maybe I just cut the discard. Maybe I just cut the Transgresses and play a Roast instead. Have more things that just impact the board. I mean, I did find uses for those Roasts. I don't think there's anything else I would want Roast instead of, though. At least out of these cards. These cards all look great. Fantastic Magic cards. And the hand's pretty tight. I'm a little weak to something like Jace into Mantis Rider. Because I only have 1 removal spell, but... Well, now I have 2-ish. I'm a little clunky. For example, can't kill Jace on 2. Could certainly draw an Impulse or a Roast, but could be an issue. Seeker, the way I'm not as concerned about. And that looks to be a Seeker, so I could fetch with Flooded Strand. Would probably have to be a Plains. Otherwise, if I get Island, I'm a ways off of casting Crackling Doom, but I also want Island for the Dig in my hand. And I have Nomad Outpost for the Kalitas, and that's great. This is a tough one. I mean, I could also just play Jace, but I feel like Jace is probably just going to die. And I would rather just play ETB tap land, then Jace, ETB tap land, then untap land, and something like Kalitas. Or, you know, start reacting to what my opponent's doing. Start killing their stuff. Magic's hard. Being on the draw is hard. Especially with a reactive deck. Ooh, Mastery. That one might be tough to fight through. The card drawing won it for me last game. So, if I don't play Jace this turn, what am I trying to do? Do I want to Crackling Doom away a Seeker? Not really. I can't Murderous Cut it. I think I just want to play Jace. That kind of disincentivizes my opponent from playing a Thunderbreak region anyway. And ideally, we're setting up a turn where we can play Kalitas and a removal spell and get a free zombie, and then the zombie can hold off one of the mastery activations. I mean, if Kalitas lives, that might just be the game. Because Kalitas kind of just destroys Mastery of the Unseen. Mantis? Nope, Crackling Doom. It's pretty good too. I guess we can't play Kalitas next turn because of our mana situation. Oh, I should have played Jason and Smoldering Marsh. What am I doing? I just thought I could fetch Flooded Strand and then everything would be fine, but clearly that's not the case. So ideally I would like to jam Kalitas this turn, but I kind of blew it. Kind of blew it. That's sort of okay though, because I kind of want to just start killing things this turn anyway. And if I were going to kill a thing, it's possible I should just do it now to not get dispelled, but I'm kind of scared of Kolaghan. I think if my opponent had Draconic Roar, they would have used that instead of Crackling Doom, because Crackling Doom's a little more versatile. Kills things like Kalitas that I think my opponent's deck is probably pretty weak to. So I think it's safe to assume that they don't have Draconic Roar. So we'll try it. I guess Dooming here is pretty bad too, because they can just activate Mastery. So we'll continue to hold firm. Let our opponent get their Manifest on. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have Chandra, because that's just a card I live in constant fear of. And the slower my opponent plays this, the better, because I need all the time I can get to regain my footing. So we're going to get Island, try and cast Dig. Hopefully that'll turn up some cheap spells. They counter it. That's actually fine, I think. I still don't think it was possible to dig on my turn and just risk getting Kolaghan, so. Oh, well, I'm tapped out. You're going to cast a little dig of your own. It's pretty good. Counter my dig, play your own. Generally a winning strategy. I feel kind of behind. A little behind. Maybe I'll draw a Mantis Rider. So jamming Kalitas kind of in the dark. If we get Kolaghan now, it's really bad. But I have been playing to where it kind of looks like I have Disdainful Strokes, and maybe they slow play things a bit. Also, if they killed my Kalitas, then I would have Cut, which is kind of what I was banking on. Hopefully we don't just get smashed in the face. Alright, Mantis Rider I can beat. Kolaghan is way scarier. Alright, down to 6. It's possible we don't need to crack this fetch land. Uh-oh. Oh, that's cute. I'm not sure if that's better than even just, I don't know. Better than just bouncing it whenever. So am I fine with this getting shuffled away, or do I want to also cut the Manifest and make a zombie? I feel like I just let this get shuffed. Jeskai Charm's interesting, though. Alright, Mantis Rider's a thing. I think I just have to cut it as much as I would like to untap. Like, buy back Murderous Cut with Soulfire. Alright, stroke my cut. That's bad for me. Yeah, that does it. I mean, that works. Yeah, maybe that was bad. Now I can't really beat the Fumarole. End up at 8 life. Board mostly clear. Wish I had another spell in the graveyard for spell mastery. I guess that's a thing I use the graveyard for. That kind of counts. Yeah, 2 Mantis Riders? What's going on? Nah, just Jace. I mean, I can't beat any of those cards realistically, so. Ew. 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 Get him, zombie. And it's not great because it just gets Fumaroled. But it does keep me from dying. That thing. Really? That seems like risky business. Alright. So I can Crackling Doom away a Manifest and then draw a card, or I can just draw 2 cards. What seems better? This might be wrong. Possible that just drawing 2 cards is better. Should almost certainly manifest in response. Well, that's a card. Opponent has no hand. So if they want to kill Chandra, I mean, I guess they don't necessarily have to attack with both. It's possible that Jace is better than Chandra on 1, but yeah, it's tough. Guess they just both come at me and then I have to jump the Fumarole. That's probably more realistic. So Seeker going at Chandra, Fumarole going at me. That just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess it does. Okay, so yeah, now I get the choice of, like, do I keep Chandra or Jace? If they attacked both with me, I don't get a choice. So in theory, that is worse for me. If Chandra is the better card by far and my opponent knows it, then it's slightly different. I think I might just keep Jace because I get a draw step, a loot, and then I get to flashback a removal spell, and then I just need something to deal with Fumarole. So I get to look at 2 cards, whereas if I keep Chandra, I get to look at 2 cards, but I don't get the free removal spell, but I get to keep a Chandra. It's pretty tough. I think since my opponent has to activate Fumarole to do this, to like kind of kill Chandra, they probably should have just done it last turn and just got Chandra off the board. And then settled into the mastery game. This is pretty interesting. I think Jace is better. Well, Painful Truce isn't doing much. Now I gotta hope that they decide to not go for it, but it's pretty unlikely. Because I just have like, you know, two draw steps to find an instant speed removal spell. When they have Mastery, they could just start working Mastery. So, kind of tempting, but... Yup. Bunch of nothing. So, Mastery, Dispel, Dig Through Time, Jeskai Charm, Crackling Doom. That's enough stuff for Duress, I think. Realistically, though, I think I just want to stick a threat. But Duress also helps with that, so... Yeah, I don't know what's better. I guess it's possible they cut down on some of the stuff that Stroke is good against. And maybe Stroke is just not good because I can answer it through other means. Such as with Crackling Doom. Dig Through Time, I guess, is the exception. But in this case, I'm going to just be looking to punch a hole. Possible that Obzy Wobzy is good. But unlikely. So we'll try Duress. We'll try a little more of an aggressive stance here. So Duress would be great in this hand. You know, we're just going to go for it. We're just going to start jamming Jaces. See what's up. Don't know where my opponent's grinding. I don't care. Yeah, I'll figure out what to do with these fetch lands later. Could mess me up if I draw a cut and need to use it or something, but whatever. Alright, so my Jace lives and yours dies? That sounds like a hell of a deal for me. I think I just want to get the outpost gone. Then this way, I can flip Jace next turn if I want to. I will likely want to, because I'll probably want to play out my other Jace. And it's much harder for them to kill a 6 loyalty Planeswalker than an 0-2. That's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah. I want to flip my Jace. So what do I want? Black-red, which would leave me with black-red open after casting Crackling Doom. Yeah, I think I can safely discard Roast. So Jace is probably going to stay at 6. I'll start things off with the Painful Truths. That's pretty cool. A lot of duresses. So I could fetch blue-black. I kind of wanted a blue-white, but I suppose it's not that big of a deal. Could fetch blue-black, cast duress, and then flashback Fiery Impulse. It's also possible I should just duress, if they have something, duress again, then tick up on Seeker. Nope. Mire and a Vista. So they can definitely rumble in with the old Fumarole. Well, maybe that means I should just tick up and keep them in Murderous Cut. That probably makes more sense. What are the odds I have the Murderous Cut? As it turns out, 100%. Sorry about that, whammy. Well, we're not going to make the same mistake twice. Not going to get our thing dispelled. Just seems like a bad idea. Oh, come on. I want to play. I wasn't even going to find anything. I was going to get, like, Crackling Doom Soulfire, I guess. And then probably just tick up on Seeker and then set up Soulfire, Fiery Impulse. But hey, whatever. We're 3-0.